What's up, ladies and gents in Cyberland? This is Chris coming to another video for RGMF, and today I'm going to be reviewing another album by Green Day, the sixth album that came out after Nimrod in 2000. Green Day's Warning. So, 3 years has passed since Nimrod, and we had some changes in the music, and one of the reasons why Warning ended up becoming the way it was, at least in my opinion, because I'm not the band, is I felt Good Riddance, the popularity of that song really opened doors to where the band could try different things and not have to be just punk rock albums fully. Even though Nimrod did have other songs that were already starting to incorporate different type of sounds and transitions and such. So, with Warning, we ended up having a lot less distortion, at least to me, a lot less aggressiveness. However, the lyrics were still on point and the music was still on point. It's just, it wasn't anything really similar to the last 5 albums. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, it was a different approach. You just, almost like they just turned the gain down on the amp. You know what I mean? So I remember I was in Japan when the information dropped on, I believe it was Green Day Net, because Green Day Authority wasn't around just yet. And the information dropped on the track list for the album. It was 12 songs. And I got really excited because I was like, oh man, Church on Sunday, Blood, Sex, and Booze, and Deadbeat Holiday, and Misery. I already know, oh man, these songs are going to be like, they're going to be like really, aggressive and stuff. And of course, I also had to factor in that Green Day had performed the live song of Warning back at this Bridge concert, and it was acoustic, and I was like, well, that's not going to be the rest of the album, and it was. The rest of the album was kind of similar to how that song was, and that's not a bad thing. It's just they kind of took away a lot of the Nice Guys Finish Last and Basket Case type of guitar sound and stuff, and it is what it is. But I knew Church on Sunday. I was really excited. I really felt Church on Sunday was going to be my favorite song of the album. And then, of course, when the album leaked, because mind you, this was back when we didn't have torrents yet. Napster was on its way. I think Napster was still around. However, the litigation was kind of getting it to fall off. But the process, the way to convert files was already out there. So other places start popping up like BearShare, Morpheus. I think it was Kazaa. And then I think the other one was Livewire. I think it was Livewire. So albums were just ending up on there. I remember Warning ended up on there. Weezer's Maladroit ended up on there too. Now that's another review later down the road. So when I heard the tracks, I was just like, okay, Hold On was the only song I really didn't care for, and it's not I dislike. The way it starts out just doesn't grab me like the rest of the other songs on the album. And lo and behold, Church on Sunday was my favorite song. Still is my favorite song on the album. So for my rating, I would give it 4.5 out of 5. Yes, sirs. It's not a 5-star album to me, and I think maybe that's because the distortion was kind of turned down on it compared to the other albums. I think if they had, and I think if they had a few sped up songs, because for me, when I have those energy songs, those sped up songs, those fast songs, that's when I'm more likely to give it a higher rating. And then Hold On was just knocked it just a little bit. It's just not a song I really care for too much. However, you can see that the band were willing to take chances just like they did with Nimrod, because songs such as Misery incorporated so many different instruments into it that I feel because of Misery, even though it's not a song that they've ever played live, just because of making that song, it also helped to formulate doing songs like Jesus of Suburbia, and as well as Homecoming, and also Before the Lobotomy, and songs on especially American Indian 21st Century Breakdown, those songs in particular, because of the success of doing Misery. And then also Minority really opened the door to where the band would start going political moving forward. Even though they've always been outspoken to some politics, Minority was really the first time they crafted it into a song, and it was where it was successful. because when I heard Minority, to me, it was just about being different. However, what it could end up being is a staple that could push to where we would get songs like American Idiot and Holiday and Know Your Enemy and 21st Century Breakdown and East Jesus Nowhere. So with that being said, my top 5 songs are Church on Sunday, Minority, Fashion Victim, Blood, Sex, and Booze, and Waiting. I just enjoy them just as much as the ones that came before it. However, I like Dookie, Insomniac, and to me, and the more I listen to the band, the more I start to feel, for me, like the trilogy of consecutiveness for their albums has always been Dookie, Insomniac, and Nimrod. Like if I didn't have any other albums by the band and I was stuck on an island, but I had those 3, it would always be those 3 just because they're so correlated into a way where they work so nice together, because like one follows the other. Songs of Insomniac kind of became the result of what Dookie was, and then the result of what people felt about Insomniac also became the result of Nimrod as well. So with that being said, we will just cue the music. See you on the next one.
I'm not gonna say that yesterday never was what should have been. Like on a sleep, making your mascara bleed, tears down your face, leaving traces of my mistakes. When I say, if I